Here we go. Thank you for the patience, everybody, and welcome back to the Red Corner. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Phils are on fire. 9 straight. We've won on the verge of winning back-to-back sweep series here. I don't even know the last time we lost a series. Slim, what do you got going on? You're a shore boy right now, right?
Yeah, I made my way down to the shore for Memorial Day weekend, as all great Philadelphians do. And let me tell you, the Philly vibes are high here too. I've seen them down on the beach, even though it was a little gray. And I'll tell you what, everybody was pumped last night out of the bars, keeping an eye on the Phillies, listening to all the DJ Sammy, all those Wildwood tunes. But the Phillies were still on the screens when I was out and about. With that being said, what a great game we had last night. What a great time to be a Phillies fan. While these other teams are, stuck in the mud, we're about to enter the summer when it's going to start getting real hot, the dog days. And I'll tell you what, the Rockies, the Pirates, and the Athletics look like they're ready for the season already to be over, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying we just basically played 3 straight AAA teams. But, guys, we have a lot to get into today, a lot to get into. If you're here, thank you for spending some time with us. We know this is, holiday season for a lot of people. So thank you for joining us. We will be hitting our Phillies century team from the year 2000 to 2025 right now. We saw that the Athletic just did this for the entire MLB. So we're like, it's a good idea for us to kind of do it right for the Phillies. So if you're here, subscribe, hit that button, Instagram, Twitter, everything. You guys know the script by now. Also, the elephant in the room here is Bones. Bones is tied up with some family stuff right now. Not able to join. He'll be missed. But he will be marked with an absence. He will be marked with an absence here.
Devo, I'm a little excited. So I want to go back to where the Phillies are, because the last couple of weeks we've only really gotten together maybe once a week. So it's been a full week since we last saw you.
Yeah.
When we last saw all the Red Riders and we were checking in here at the Red Table, the big thing was we wanted to catch the Mets were playing the Yankees, right? They had that big Sunday night game. We were about a half game behind. By the end of that day, that night, we were a half game above. Since then, we're now 3 games above the Mets. We're 34-18. They're 31-21. And listen, trust me, I don't believe the Nick Castellanos hype that I'm seeing. I still get nervous about our approach. I know we were in first place all last year and we still didn't get it done. But let's be for real. We're hot right now. Let's enjoy it, and then we'll see if anything changes when the time comes. But right now, we're doing exactly what we need to do. And God bless anyone who's been hammering these Phillies, especially that -1.5 line. If you've been banging the Phillies -1.5 on all these games and then just double downing on the games they didn't win by 1.5, you probably have a ton of money right now. I'm going to look at it right now, but I'm telling you, when these teams like the Phillies and stuff get hot, holy cow.
Holy cow. Yeah, I mean, best team in baseball right now, best record in baseball, and obviously we're top of the division. So things are riding high. But Slim, let's not keep the people waiting anymore. We'll talk about your Slim-Pick-Ems down the line because I know Slim's been on a little bit of a heater just like the Phillies. Let's start off with the Phillies quarter century team here.
Slim, but real fast. Out of all these wins, going back to the Pirates, they've all been by it's 9 wins, 7 have been by more than 2 runs. So
right. So it's been a heater on that. So Slim, let's start off here with we'll do the layups, right? We're going to do the layup positions. So let's start off with first base. Who do you have as the quarter century Phillies first baseman?
I'm going to have to go with Ryan Howard, the MVP.
Right.
Yep. No doubt about it. Plug him in at 4.
Plug him in at 4, Ryan Howard. All right. So second base, we got Chase Utley, right? No debates there. We're going to just get the layup
there.
Shortstop. What do you got?
Jimmy Rollins, the captain. I'll make him the captain. I'll still make him the captain.
Yeah. So, definitely the captain. Chase Utley going back to second base for a second here. So obviously, Chase has been getting a lot of buzz the past couple of years about a potential future Hall of Famer, right? So if that comes to fruition, it makes the fact that he's one of the greatest Phillies of all time as it is. So Rollins, not so much as far as the Hall of Fame odds, but who knows? That could change down the line.
Well, it's funny with Rollins too because I feel like maybe not totally, but there's a lot of people, a lot of diehard Philly fans who believe that Rollins has a stronger case than Utley. That's it. When you come
Sure.
to the diehard base, I mean, not saying that the voters but let's be real. Some of the voters for the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, they might not be diehard Phillies fans. The Hall of Fame really started about like with these regional stuff.
Right.
And now, and don't get it twisted. It's hard to be watching all these games and know exactly what's going on. Especially, it's maybe a little bit easier now.
Yeah.
With especially with like if you missed last night's game, you could watch it in detail, nice little 10, 15-minute highlight that the MLB throws on YouTube for you. But with that being said, yeah, a lot of smart people think Rollins has a stronger case, even though his popularity isn't up there with Utley's with the
Yeah.
voters.
100%. Rollins has a lot of the counting stats tops for the Phillies, right? All-time hits, stuff like that. So it's always going to be an easy case to be made there. Let's move on to a couple other the quick hitters here. So center field, who do you have there?
For center field, I would have to choose Shane Victorino. As soon as Shane Victorino came into the major leagues, he got himself on a nice little hitting streak, and he never looked behind.
Yeah,
He left us. He went over to I think Boston. Did he end up winning one with Boston?
he did. He won a World Series with Boston.
And here's the thing about some of these '08 guys. Someone not Howard. I don't think Utley got a World Series with the Dodgers, and not Rollins. But dudes like Victorino, they left and became a role player and another World Series champion in the American League. Another piece we'll get to later did something very similar.
Yeah, Victorino actually had a couple signature postseason plays for the Red Sox too. So he
For sure, for sure. I mean, I would have to recall and go back, but as I was doing my research, because like you said, Victorino was kind of like a given for me. Um, but yeah, no, absolutely. I was shocked to see some of these '08 Phillies and how well they did with other teams.
100%. And then Slim, you hit on it, right? So the Flying Hawaiian from Jump Street, he kind of Rule 5 draft, like he's one of the best Rule 5 drafts ever, honestly. And he came in, had that streak, and just rode it. And the Phillies, honestly, haven't been able to find that everyday center fielder at his caliber since, right? There was the Odubel Herrera years. He had some decent seasons that he put together, but never had that kind of continuity that Victorino provided us, especially during the best era of our team. So Victorino is the slam dunk there. Now we're going to transition to some of the positions that get a little bit more interesting, right? Let's go to right field.
So for me personally, and if we want to get into the nuance of how we want to construct this lineup,
Yeah.
I have to go Bryce Harper in right field.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Howard first base, Bryce Harper in right field. That's who I have there. One guy who he doesn't make the team, but I gotta give him special consideration. He's one of my all-time favorite Phillies. And I would put this dude over maybe a guy even like a Bobby Abreu. I know everyone's like wants to pencil Bobby Abreu in there. But if
Yeah.
I was going to go for a season, I'm talking about competitiveness. I'm talking about as my second tier guy, and I'm pissed Bones isn't here because I want him to hear this. I'm
Yeah.
taking Jason Worth in a 7-game series over Bobby Baseball. And trust me, I've seen his swings. I know the swings, but I've seen the defense too, and I've seen the clutch moments for the. He's the Phillies' all-time home run leader at one point. He was crushing lefties for us and crushing home runs in the postseason. He won the World Series with the damn Washington Nationals, something Bryce Harper never did. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I should have mentioned this before the fact, and I love that Jason Worth call out there. So we were going with the rules for this quarter century team. We're going strict rules, right? So what that means is we're only picking players at their primary position or a position they were at least notable for, right? So Slim just hit on this, right? So basically, who does this eliminate, right? This eliminates us moving guys from right field to left field. We didn't play any of that game. And the other thing that we did was it had to be a consistent player during this 25-year stretch. So longevity wasn't the sole factor, but it was considered. So when I say longevity wasn't the sole factor, but it was considered, who were guys that should come to mind? Guys like Raul Ibanez, right? Guys like Scott Rowland. So Scott Rowland, obviously a great Philly during his stretch, but he didn't have the longevity during this quarter century. So Scott Rowland earned out. Guys like
Right.
Raul Ibanez. Ibanez's peak, right? He had that 2 or 3 year stretch with us for if you plugged him to left field, he might have been one of the better left fielders we've had, but he didn't have the longevity to be considered. So just wanted to put that out there. So yeah,
Well,
so good with Harper, and obviously because Harper's right now is a first baseman, so people might be thinking about that, right,
right. So
Slim?
that's the other thing. So, and like when we're talking about the other thing we were talking about, especially when it comes to left field, which do we want to get to now? Because that's where we see Ibanez, that's where we see Pat Burrell, and that's where we got the 1 year of Schwarber. It was probably Schwarber's worst year or one of his lower ones. But for me personally, uh, out of those folks, out of those three, I those and Dominic Brown again, because again, what you can make the argument.
You could.
Really, you gotta go, man, Burrell or Ibanez is kinda close. Um,
Burrell has the longevity, like way more than Ibanez, right? Burrell has like almost 9 or 10 years with us. Um, I lean Burrell just for that.
I'm gonna go Pat Burrell too because let's stay with the theme. He left us, went to San Fran. I think he won again. And don't get me wrong, Pat Burrell is like the modern day. I think Pat Burrell has a little bit more power, especially with the home runs, than Nick Castellanos has, and Nick Castellanos is a little bit more athletic and faster. But they're very hot and cold type stuff there. So I'm actually going to take Pat Burrell for my left field over Ibanez because he was a young 40 something years old or 30, like late 30s, but we still got the older version of Ibanez there. And a lot of what he was known for was done in that first half of that first year we got him, to where Pat Burrell did it for like a decade or whatever for us. So I definitely want to take Pat Burrell for left field over Ibanez. And yeah, I'm going to squeeze Schwarber in my team later on if I'm able to.
Well, so chat, we see you guys, and if you have any questions or you're feeling you agree or disagree, let us know. But at the end when we do our strict list, let's go back and kind of find areas that for guys that we would plug in for if we were doing one series, right? If
Gotcha.
at the end, and then we'll also maybe we're going to have a little bit of fun in maneuvering guys around. And guys, we'll post all this on our socials as far as what the official list is. But let's go to one of the other maybe somewhat controversial positions in third base. Who do you got for third base, Slim?
Third base. So I'm not going to have Scott Rowland for the reasons you mentioned. And
Go
the
ahead.
other one, the guy who I want to have on there, but I don't think his talent, uh, for me, it comes down to Polanco or Feliz, right? And
What about
it,
Bohm? I had Bohm in consideration too.
I was thinking about Bohm. Bohm, no, I don't think his offense is good. I don't think it's that much better than Polanco's, and his defense is definitely behind Polanco and Feliz. Out of those three, Polanco, Boom, Feliz had the hands down the best defense. It wasn't even close. He was awesome there. I don't think he ever got a Gold Glove, but I think he was definitely the best third baseman I've seen since Roland defensively there. Man, it's hard not to get Polanco on there. It's a tough decision for me between Polanco and Feliz. I'll I gotta go Polanco because Polanco's a guy you can bat. He was batting second in the order for us, so he's a dude who's actually putting the ball in play. His defense was pretty solid. I'm not sure if he won a Gold Glove or not. I know Polanco he was kind of known as a utility guy. Also, I know the 1 year he played second for us, and then he came back and played third. At the time, everyone was saying, "Yo, yo, 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 why don't we put him the third now?" Right?
Yeah.
And then he came back. So I'm going to take Polanco. Placido Polanco is my all-century third baseman for the Phillies.
No disagreement here on that. I think Polanco is the right move. The names that we kind of toss around there. I mean, you could even say Maikel Franco as well. Just kind of just throwing names out there. I think you know what I mean. But Bohm came down to Bohm and Polanco for me. Feliz didn't have the longevity, only here for 2 years. Polanco had the two stints that you hit on and was here like for 7 years. So Polanco definitely
Yeah,
gets the nod there at third base. So no
right.
real disagreement. Go ahead.
Especially like you said, the Fleas only being here for 2 years. But man, I remember a couple times where runners in scoring position, one out. Here's the story I remember of Pedro Feliz, and it's why I'm a little attached to him. I remember being at the game. There was a guy on third base. There was one out, and pretty much, you could rely on old Feliz. Feliz was good enough to where hard ball hit to him with third base, bam, he could tag third, he could gun it home, and then the catcher could even gun it at first. I'm trying to remember the exact situation, but long story short, he turned a double play himself, and then in the bottom half of that inning, he hit a home run and walked it off. So he was one of these guys, not a great hitter, but a timely hitter, and his defense, I think, was par to none. I just don't have as many moments with Polanco, even though he has a 7-year stint.
No, 100% agree there. And we have some chat activity from Willie S saying,
So no, I'll say Feliz. I'll say Feliz. I'm going to change mine. I'm going to make mine Feliz. Make it a little. I'm going to make mine Feliz. Yeah, I am.
So that there's nothing wrong with that. I definitely don't agree with that, but that's fine.
Right.
That's for. So we have Willie S in the chat saying Gabe Kepler at manager. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. We'll have to. Good call there, Willie. We'll talk about the manager that we'll pick at the end of this too, because we didn't even think about that. That's a nice little on the fly change we'll do. All right, so I think we've rounded out most of the position players except catcher, which also is a little bit more controversial. So where are you at? And then I'll respond.
I think we have to go Remuto, right? He's been, we got to go Remuto. The stats back it. He has the longevity now. He's been excellent. He looked great last night again. I love Chooch, but Chooch is pretty much Chooch was always a bottom of the order hitter till the end of his career the last year when we really stunk. It was always more of a celebratory type player. Clutch, love Chooch, one of my all-time favorites, but he's not the talent. You got to go Remuto. I love Remuto.
All right, guys. So for our listening folks, there's a new face here, and what we're going to do here, and you showed up late for class, and the teacher can look at you, and we're going to do that to Bones right now. Bones has arrived, but we're not happy right now. So, Bones, I don't know where you were able to listen to, but right now,
I've been listening this whole time.
Good. What do you got to say?
Catcher. We're on catcher right now. Where are you at?
Catcher. It's Chooch was the man, but JC's better offensively. So that's my pick. It's not even close. He calls a good game too. So Chooch never won a Gold Glove.
That's a good point. So I think JT's defense is the superpower compared to them two. Now, one name that we haven't talked about offline or now, Mike Lieberthal. Mike Lieberthal, underrated, and we might have to do it. So we talked about teasing doing some player profile episodes. I think our first player profile episode might be Mike Lieberthal. That's a guy that if you go back and look at those numbers, I think your eyebrows are going to raise a little bit. He was here for a while. If you compare Lieberthal and Chooch, I think you might be surprised, folks. Because JT was DCIB, best catcher in baseball for a while, and his defense was second to none, I am going to lead Realmuto, but I also want to give our boy Lieberthal a shout-out there.
But let's be one thing Chooch has done that I don't think either of those guys did, correct me if I'm wrong, is Chooch caught a Cy Young winner, right? So I know Roy Halladay gave Chooch his own personal Cy Young when he won the Cy Young. So that is a notch to Chooch for sure. But yeah, Lieberthal, I remember becoming aware of baseball, the stats, the numbers. Lieberthal making the early All-Star game. And then after that, never really doing it for me personally. But he was always one of those catchers that you saw that the umpires respected too. So he was one of those guys that he was definitely one of the faces of my first experiences with the Phillies, those post '93 World Series teams.
Yeah, I think Lieberthal. Oh shit! I think
Whatever you did was you made it go mute. Can't hear you. All right,
there we go. Wrong one. Lieberthal, I think he got hurt in '99, came back in 2000, or it was like vice versa. I remember the game was against the Pirates. Got hurt at first base on I think it was like a pickoff play. But he had like a huge year, whatever the following year was. He's a Phillies Wall of Famer. He's underrated. Sucks that the Phillies were bad back then, so he wasn't really respect it much, but he was a good player. He was probably top 5 catcher in baseball at the time.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So let's go back to third base.
I feel like he was probably overrated. Like you said, I think he was hot, good, whatever. And then, yeah, I always wanted more. Even though I was like 11 years old, I was like, what? Like, what? Lieberthal was supposed to be this guy for us, you know? And, yeah, I think the other interesting names are Herrera and Franco because they're the two where they should be in this argument, and they're absolutely not. And that just shows you where, and it correlates with where the Phillies were at the time. These two had the maturity to be the players we needed them to be. They could be 1 or 1A in these conversations.
Well, I think Franco was my backup.
Franco's your backup. He sucked.
No.
You just said he should be in the argument.
No, I said the opposite. He's not in these arguments because he sucked. He should have been good, and that's the reason you saw the Phillies suck during those years because guys like Franco and Herrera never could figure it out. How in the world can you have Franco over a dude like Feliz? Did you like that? That means that's terrible.
Well,
he was here longer.
You're higher.
But he sucked.
So did Pedro Feliz.
No, he didn't.
Right,
Pedro Feliz. Don't make me have to Google the baseball savants on his defense. He's one of the best defensive third basemen, probably the best we've had. He's up there with Roland and Schmidt.
He's nowhere near Scott Rowland, dude. Come on.
Absolutely.
That's a joke. What are you smoking today?
Absolutely. You just said Franco is your second third baseman. What are you smoking? It was the worst time. Bones is one of those guys that says Franco.
Feliz couldn't hit water if he fell off a boat.
So let's reel it in here.
I need the splits.
Slim, let me remind the viewers of where we're at here. So third base, before Bones, who showed up late for class today, jumped on, we had a split. Now, the rules of this is 2 people can veto the other one. So right now, at third base for our quarter century team, we have a split between Placido Polanco and Feliz. Now, let's argue a little more about this because this is a good conversation. This is the position. So, Bones, where are you at? Who's your third baseman?
Well, obviously, I'm not going with Pedro Feliz since he's not even my backup. I'm going with Placido Polanco. Came here after the Scott Rowland deal, was playing second base. Team player, moved over to third base so Utley can play second base. Then came back in 2010 after the Phillies re-signed him, which I thought they should have went after Adrian Beltre, and look how that went. But yeah, Placido Polanco. He was here for a while. He was reliable, Mr. Reliable. Came up with big hits. He was, I think he has a Gold Glove under his belt. Not with the Phillies, but I think out in Detroit he had one. So yeah, that's my pick for third base.
That cements that. So our third baseman is Polanco. So the honorable mentions were Miguel Franco, and I did Alec Boehm as well. I think he did those honorable mentions. I actually think Boehm is my backup, to be honest. That might be controversial, but his defense is settled in. He's a pure hitter. A lot of the other guys were not, like Feliz was not. So I think Boehm is my backup. All right, so let's move on to the pitcher rotation. Let's start off with you here.
Yeah,
Slim.
Polanco's the right pick, and Feliz is the second guy. It's not Bowman. It's definitely isn't Franco. Polanco's the correct pick, and Feliz is easily the backup.
Boehm, you're nuts. But anyway, pitcher.
Now,
Move on to the pitchers.
Bowman bats 8th now.
Yeah, we have the best record in baseball.
All right, the pitchers.
Who you got? Who's your ace?
Feliz won a World Series with us. Feliz won a World Series with us.
Okay.
My ace would have to be Roy Halladay.
All right. I'll let you guys just go back and forth on this. If I disagree, I'll step in.
Number 2, Hollywood Hamels. He's the man.
Okay.
Number 3, Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler is a guy, I loved him with the Mets. The first year here, I didn't love him. I didn't like the blister stuff. I didn't like the arm weariness stuff. I thought it was soft. Since then, every single time Wheeler takes the mound, he makes Slim eat. I eat it, right? Those early doubts, I eat it every single time Wheeler's out there. He is phenomenal. So, yeah, and he's having another great year. He's my number 3. And if he can win a World Series, he'll jump over probably. Yeah, he might. catapult to 1 potentially, right?
But I think that's kudos to Caleb Coughlin too, with the way Wheeler's been handled since he came over here. He's just been dominant outside of that first year, which was weird. It was the COVID year. So, next one for me is Clifton Pfeiffer Lee for Game 4. I mean, this guy did it all, like the World Series against the Yankees, Game 1. I mean, incredible stuff. He pitched 10 innings for the Phillies one year for the one game against the Giants.
Yeah, he's a beast.
After that, he got hurt and he sucked.
All right, you guys ready? It's not the guy. I'm going to have to get a little. I got to take it all old school. I got to be authentic. This is an all-century team. This guy has versatility. Hate him or love him. I'm going to go with Brett Myers at number 5.
Okay. All right.
Give me Brett Myers.
Bones, where are you at on that? I don't agree with that. Where are you at?
I'm going to go Aaron Nola. I mean, this guy's been here since 2014. He's about to take over second place on the Phillies all-time wins list this year. He's just behind Cole Hamels.
Yep.
He has like 104 wins. I think Hamels had 108 with the Phillies or something like that.
The vibes with Nola are off. The vibes with Myers are high. If Myers was in this room right now, he would head to head. If the game was tomorrow, right? It was the same lineups, right? You guys had Aaron Nola pitching, and I had Brett Myers pitching. Same lineup. We had computer teams or whatever. I would easily ride with Brett Myers head to head versus Nola in a game.
Both prone to the home run ball for sure. If there was no DH in the NL, maybe Brett Myers would get the nod because he had that great at bat versus CC Sabathia and the NLDS in 08. But there is no DH, and I'm going with Aaron Nola.
And he can.
Nola didn't get moved to the bullpen yet. Brett Myers did get moved to the bullpen. He went down to the minors.
That was great. That was great. That was great. That was all part of it.
And then he came back next year and was a starter.
And he never robbed us either of $160 million.
So I agree with. I have to. By the way, good shout out to Brett Myers there because I didn't think he was going to get mentioned today. It's a compelling argument. I'm going to agree with Bones on this one with Nola. He's got the longevity. He's got the counting stats that we gotta. I feel like it's disrespectful to not have him on this list, guys.
Yo, and
yeah,
before we go, he only played 1 year here in this century, but don't forget about Kurt Schilling, man. He was only here 1 year, but
yeah. So you can.
I would maybe take him over Nola for sure.
No, you're right. If I had to pick, I would definitely do that, no doubt. It is hard when you're talking about, like you said, what are we really talking about? Are we talking about the accomplishments in that time frame, or are we talking about like the kind of arguments I was trying to make? All right, we're playing a baseball game tomorrow. The baseball game tomorrow, if we want to get the other fan bases feeling sexy about our teams, you put Schilling in there. But I think the diehards, Philly fans, would include Nola.
So 100% great segue. So you guys all saw Men in Black, right? Remember that little device where they used to make you forget? So I just did that to you. Clear your minds. That's exactly what you just said. We're having a little bit of fun with this. So what we're doing is we have full range. Now I think we got to be a little bit realistic. I think the Kurt Schilling and the Scott Rollins are perfect examples of. If they were here for a year, do we consider them? What we're doing right now is the best time, so we can have a little bit of flexibility with position at the DH right now. The most flexibility meaning like, can they actually do it? Right? Can a right fielder play left? Probably. If we saw them do it, even better. So let's do that. We're going into the World Series right now. We're picking the best lineup. I'm going to start off with you, Slim. Who do you have at first base? You're on mute.
Are we using DH?
Yes. So we're using DH right now. How the game is played right now. We're in the World Series.
We're in the World Series. You have to have because right off the issue, right? We had the Castellanos, Harper, Schwarber, or not Castellanos. We had the Howard, Harper, and Schwarber issue. We
Yup.
got to get all three of those guys in the lineup.
Spot on.
All right, we got to get all three of those guys, and the easiest way to get all three in is to keep it simple, stupid. You plug Howard in at first base, or unless you think about the defense, do we put Harper there? But then that means if we put Harper there for the defense, that means Schwarber has to play left field.
Yeah. Bones, where are you at on that?
I go Ryan Howard first base. I think it's the
Because his
easier
defense
move.
sucks. We know that sucks.
I don't think he was a bad. He just couldn't make a throw to second.
He sucked. I mean, and I'm a Ryan Howard guy, but it could be if we're playing to save Philadelphia against aliens or whatever, and we have the all-time Phillies for tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to be worried about his defense in that game tomorrow, and that's something we might not want to have to worry about. So,
No, I'm not worried about defense at all.
I don't
to
want
be
to go
honest with you.
corporate, but we might have to circle back. Well, you're not worried about defense, then you're wrong. How can you not be worried about defense?
I'm not worried because the guy is going to. He averaged 40 and 140 for 5 straight years.
And then what if we're playing the all Boston Red Sox?
When did Howard or when is Bryce Harper come close to 140 RBIs?
I'm talking about the defense.
Ding,
I do not want to see a ball go between Ryan Howard's legs in a game that's going to save Philadelphia. And I'm going to look at you. You're going to say, "Oh, he hit a home run last week."
Here's the conversation.
That was an issue. That was a real issue. And the best optimal team probably has Howard as a DH and Harper at first and Schwarber in left field potentially.
I agree with you, Slim. I agree with you on that one.
Ryan Howard's defense never lost the Phillies a game.
So
Plain and simple.
I agree with Slim on this one. So we just beat out Bones. So at first base, I would put. So you're saying you want Bryce Harper first, correct? You got to think about the domino effect, right? Because in right field, I want Bobby Abreu out there.
Yeah, I like that. I like Harper at first base.
Correct. All right. So we're vetoing Bones there. We're keeping Harper first.
Yep.
Now let's go to the domino effect on left field. Who we want in left field? Bones, you leave this.
Give me Juice, Paparol.
Okay.
Guy had a cannon for an arm. A little slow on getting to the ball, but so Schwarber. I go with Paparol.
They're not even the same caliber of player, though. At all. I'd have to go Schwarber. I got to go Schwarber.
I'm going to go Schwarber, too.
I got to go Schwarber.
Bones, a double veto. All right, so we have Schwarber in left, Harper in first. Let's go right field now. Let's start with the domino effect.
Here you go, Bones.
Pick your boy here.
What, Bobby Abreu? Yeah. You said that.
No, but we got to agree on it. So
Yeah, I'm with Bobby Abreu.
Bobby Abreu in right.
Should be Hall of Famer Bobby Abreu.
There you go.
I'll stamp Bobby Abreu.
All right.
But wouldn't it be on my quarter-century team, Bobby Abreu?
Correct.
All right, so let's get DH out of the way here. So I think we're all going to be in agreement on this one based upon where we're at the other positions. Slim, where are we at DH?
Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard. Okay, perfect. This one, there's not really a lot of flexibility, so let's just center field. Bones.
Center field, Shane Victorino. I mean, the flying wine.
Yeah.
2 World Series in his career. As you talked about earlier, won one with the Red Sox. Had the big grand slam, all CC in the NLDS. A lot of big homers. Big throws at the plate to win games. I think it's an easy one. I mean, what other center fielders? Marlon Byrd? Was that really the backup there?
We could say like the worst game. I don't think Victor did have a number that Joe did. It's not like Victor was a complete liability with the boat. So I think his increased defense and base running would outweigh Worth probably.
Yeah.
That's how we settled it. Victor was a really plus defender. Cannon.
Yeah.
Not because it was a bad defense, but
And Victorino is someone we saw who would bat in the top, near the top half of the order, bat a second a lot of times when Utley was getting hurt, that kind of thing. So yeah, no, definitely Victorino. Another guy in center field. Again, you circle all the way back to Herrera, just never figuring it out, really.
yeah, Herrera. So I think now we're down to the next question mark is third base. Jones, Slim, actually, you lead this one. Where are you at on this one?
So at third base, I'm fine with Blanco. I'm fine with Blanco there.
Okay.
What are you looking up? Honestly, after I looked up his WAR numbers and stuff with us, his numbers are crazy. Blanco has crazy numbers, man.
Oh yeah.
With the Phillies alone, he has a 15.8 WAR. That is over 7 years, so he was able to build that up over more games. But that's still pretty good. In 16 years, his entire WAR is 41.9, so that's really, really high. That's a guy who's getting it done on both offense and defense. So yeah, I'm fine with Polanco. You guys are right on Polanco.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you're saying this is one game, right? One game.
Well, no, this is constructing the team for the series. Again, we don't have to get too crazy about these specific.
Yeah, series, a 3-game.
Yeah.
But based off of like Philly stats or
No, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we got to have a little bit of integrity on that, right? Because if we said Scott Rowland here, I
Yeah.
think that's easy.
yeah,
Play for like a year or two in that era.
yeah,
Scott Rowland would be the third baseman, right? Like,
Yeah. but yeah, definitely Polanco. Yeah, and here's another. He didn't play long here.
Yeah.
Didn't play long enough here. Michael Young, like he wasn't good here, but when he was with Texas, he was one of the best third basemen in baseball.
Oh yeah.
Then he came over here and he just stunk. But he was like he was supposed to be like that, like Anthony Polanco. He was supposed to be like our guy for a couple of years as the Phillies were trying to get back to that winning stage. Michael Young. But yeah, Polanco is definitely the third baseman for this team.
Put on the hitter, so obviously Rollins. Let's just finish here. We're not going to hit the pitchers. We've gone long here, but where are we at on catcher? This kind of fantasy segment here.
JT.
JT, Slim.
JT.
Okay, so JC's our guy. All right, so guys, we will post both versions of this on our socials. This is a fun segment. Let us transition here. And Bones, are we good on the raffle, or should we postpone that?
I can get it on my phone and not like the paper thing, but I can do it on I can put it on my phone.
Okay.
And do it like auto-generated thing.
All right. We'll get to that later. But Slim, are you good on Slim-Pick-Ems? Let's kind of do a little break action. Let's talk a little gambling.
Yeah, let's get straight into it. Slim-Pick-Ems. What's up, Slim and partners? How we feeling? I know a lot of people were listening to maybe the radio. You're doing the countdowns, rock and roll, top 500s. Well, here are Slim and partners. Don't forget we're the S&P 500, okay? So it's not just about what happened last week or the week before. It's what happened in our portfolios over a long-term base. And last week, it wasn't much, but we put a little dent into our little deficit here. So let me pull up my my board. We ended up going 5 and 7 last week for plus 0.6 units. That puts us at 27 and 57 for minus 13.88 units for the year. Real quick, I got a couple. You know, Slim likes to do the double downs, but today I'm going to give you a little treat. Okay, here's the treat. There's going to be four plays today that are no double downs. These are strictly one-offs today. You can take the Blue Jays minus 1.5. You can take. Oh, where are we at here? You can take the Blue Jays minus 1.5. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong day. That's what's happening here. I'm looking at tomorrow. My apologies. My apologies, class. My apologies, class. All right. I'll wait for the dog to take a piss. All right. So today you can take. All right. So here we go. You can take Baltimore -1.5. They're going to be about +180. Okay. After Baltimore, you can also take the Blue Jays today. They're going to be about +155. You can also take the Kansas City Royals today. They're going to be about +150. And last but not least, you can take the Arizona Diamondbacks today. They're going to be +155 as well. Remember, these are all -1.5. And because Slim loves you guys all so much, I'm going to give you something for tomorrow. So those plays, they're one-off Sunday Fun Day plays, all right? Now, here comes your normal scheduled programming with the Slim Double Downs tomorrow. And we got day baseball today, and we got day baseball tomorrow. These games are starting around 11 o'clock. Some of these games are starting at 1 o'clock. So tomorrow, again, you're going to take the Blue Jays. You're going to redo it. It's only going to be one unit today and one unit tomorrow. You're going to take the Blue Jays. You're going to take the Cardinals. You're going to take the Dodgers. And we're also going to be taking the Twins, who are playing some of the best baseball, and we're going to take Miami. So today, it's just going to – what is going on with our show today? All right. So today, so Sunday plays, everybody, Blue Jays, Royals, O's, Diamondbacks. Tomorrow, one unit, everybody, and these are double downs. Blue Jays again, Cardinals, Dodgers, Twins, Miami. That's 5. Blue Jays, Cardinals, Dodgers, Twins, Miami. If they lose Monday, double down Tuesday. In recap, Sunday, we're going Blue Jays, Royals, O's, and Diamondbacks. They're one-offs. Tomorrow, reset. Blue Jays, Cardinals, Dodgers, Twins, Miami. If any of them lose, double down tomorrow. All right, so I just gave you about 5. I gave you about 9 plays for sure, and this could roll into about potentially 18 plays. All right, so listen, double back the track, and we'll go from there.
Slim is on a heater right now. He's been bouncing back really, really well lately. And I always say this, guys, Slim faces the music. He comes with the stats. He's got a system that he follows. So ride with Slim, because the red corner will be riding with Slim.
Hey, what? It felt like a hurricane getting those picks out.
Oh yeah, that was like a 45-minute. I don't know. We're gonna workshop that. We got to do like a graphic or something with those picks, because it is hard to follow. Bones, how we doing over there? Raffle wise,
Getting there.
We
got a lot of people. We got a lot of people in this raffle today.
I think while we're here, we gotta get Bones a laptop and headphones, because I think that's the fucking leak. Bones, we gotta figure your stuff out, dude.
There ain't nothing wrong with my stuff.
It is your stuff. It's only your stuff, dude. It is only your stuff.
Nope.
We're picking up all your sound. We don't pick up no one else's sound. All right, it has to be.
What? My dog ringing the bell?
No, it's the air. It's the air in the room we're picking up. We're picking up everything, dude.
Because my microphone's right there.
Right. We got to figure all that out. It's you.
Nope, it's not me.
I can't even think as I'm talking and giving my picks out, because I got fucking a million things happening in the back of your shit. It's you.
Whoa, tensions are high. We got a finger pointing Memorial Day session here, and guys, you came to us and you said you love the hats. Slim loves the hats. People are saying they love the hats. This is what we did. We got Memorial Day. We got the red, white, and blue. We got the patriotism high. This is what we did. We got a sweet 47, always adjustable hat, because we don't know how big or small your head is. This is the surprise giveaway. It gets shipped to the address of your choice. We love giving away hats. Red Corner loves it. So, Bones, you let us know when we're ready for that raffle, because we have a lot of going through. You let us know, because we're going to move on to the next segment. Well, you let us know when you're ready. We're going to clip that rant, because that was an all-timer right there by Slim. Love to see it.
That's the issue. That's the only issue.
We're going to, we're going to go to an audio and video class as a team here. But here's the deal, guys. So the Phillies right now, best record in baseball. We have top of the division. The Mets kind of been up and down. This has been great. We're settling in. We haven't even entered hitting season yet. But what do we have coming up? We got the Braves coming up with. Am I a little scared of this Ronald Acuna stuff? Have you seen this?
He's on fire. 2 home runs in 2 games. First one was first pitch he's seen all year.
Yep.
In the majors. He is good, but they suck. How about Strider? He stinks.
Strider's struggling. That's that injury. He hasn't bounced back from that.
He hasn't
What
bounced
is going
back
on
from the
with
Reese
Strider?
Hoskins homer.
I haven't seen the details on Strider. What's going on with Strider? Just getting beat around? Because for the way I'm looking at it, is Acuna he looks like he could be the spark plug. That we know what the other Braves started. They lost a week worth of games. They're floating around 500. Really haven't. They got past it and then they fell back up below it. They're like still floating there. Really having a hard time scoring runs. But Acuna's the guy that can. I mean, like I said, he's a top 5, top 3 caliber guy in baseball. Yeah.
How about that bonehead play on the base pass the other night by Atlanta, costing them a game?
What was that?
But it does scare me.
That's kind of where I'm at, right? We got the Braves coming up, and they're still like 8 games behind us. But Acuna, red hot, first pitch he sees, it's a bomb, a top 5 home run distance of the year. First pitch he sees, then he hits another one the next game, right? So then, listen, we're red hot. I'm not worried about the Braves seriously, but something.
And that's after he talked a bunch of crap about the manager, right? When they were talking about the first pitch home run. He did have 3 strikeouts yesterday too. So I mean, that's good to see. You know, we got guys who, I mean, thinking about Alvarado, who we don't have anymore. But yeah, that's one thing I noticed. I noticed he was like 1 for 4 or whatever, 1 homer, 3 Ks. So that's some old school Kyle Schwarber stuff.
Right. So, but the other good piece of news is we got the Braves coming in town Tuesday, day off tomorrow, and then the Red Corner and company will actually be at a tailgate this upcoming Saturday, the 31st, for the Brewers. We're welcoming Reese Hoskins back in town, and we will be in the building. So we're looking forward to that. We will tease that. Bones.
All right, I'm ready here. I got them all.
All right.
I put them in like this app I use for like a golf thing where it will just like auto-generate the order. Whatever the first name is first, that's going to be the winner. All the names are in here. We got 90 names here I had to put in. That's why it took so long.
All right.
90 names I put in.
I'm letting our socials know that we are going live raffle right now, guys. This is what you will win.
That is a beautiful hat.
Yeah, we put up our raffle crowd. There we go. All right, Slim. Bones, rather. Take it away.
So, the winner of our raffle. Drum roll, please. All right, here we go.
We got
Mo Bilotti. Mo Bilotti is the winner of our Phillies hat.
Congratulations, got a nice hat, nice red hat.
One of our Instagram followers, so congratulations to you. We will get this shipped over to you. Congratulations. Guys, where are we at? Anything else you want to get off your chest here? Phillies play a game today at 4 o'clock. Another opportunity to sweep the Athletics. That game last night was ridiculous. Where are we at, boys? The floor is yours.
We're a third into the season, so we're looking real good. We're looking better than last year, frankly. Even with the bullpen stuff, I know it makes a lot of us uneasy. Felt bad for Romano on Friday night. Hate to see him digress, but I think he's going to be a guy who's going to probably have a couple blown. We were lucky to get the win, right? So that's the other thing. So there's going to be times where we just got to be lucky to escape with a win here and there. But yeah, like I said, most of our wins this run, 7 out of 9 have been by 2 or more runs. So we're kicking ass.
And it's always tough to win on the West Coast, right? Like you got like the time change and all this, and they just been rolling through these teams. Like first time ever that the Phillies swept the Rockies of a 4-game series in Colorado. As bad as they are, it's still tough to do. Like I mean, they just beat the Yankees the other day, and the Yankees are rolling. And then Oakland, they're not a good team, but they're not like the Rockies. Like they have some hitters on their team, and obviously they got some good pitching. We seen Friday night with the game, but it's tough to win on the road. And the Phillies are doing it. They're beating teams that they should be, and they're doing it pretty easily. So like everybody's saying, we're not comfortable yet saying that they're going to be this. Well, we'll see it this week when, like you said, Atlanta's coming to town. What are they going to do? We got Milwaukee next week, not playing as well as they're used to.
Right.
So hopefully the Phillies can continue. They're not going to, not saying they're going to win the next 8 games again, like against Atlanta and Milwaukee, but all depends on how they're doing it and how they're playing will determine where they're at and comfortability. I'm comfortable saying that I think they are the best team in baseball. Like even though their record says it, but some people it's not good enough for them. I think they are the best team. Their starting pitching's great. Even when Aaron Nola being down, like how bad they are. I'm gonna pull this out so I don't hear it no more.
Probably would have done before the show, but keep going.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I'm comfortable saying, like I said it a couple weeks ago when I sent that. I read the text out that I sent to the people, and this is what they're living up to now.
And let's give a shout out to all the Philly fans who that second week of the year. Remember, it got kind of saucy there. We were real afraid. But there's a lot of people that were shooting me a text, calling into other shows, doing whatever, saying, hey, we're still on the same pace we were last year. Settle down. And those people were right. Slim wasn't one of those people. So if you were one of those people, kudos to you for being calm, cool, and collective. With that being said, Bones, I slightly disagree about the best team in baseball because the haters are kind of right when they say we know what the makeup of this team is. The guys like Turner and Castellanos are looking hot now, but we know when the pitching gets good and it's a little bit hotter, a little bit the fastballs are faster, the breaking stuff's hitting, it's more disguised. Can these guys actually lay off when the pitching gets better out the bullpen? We have yet to see that, and we won't see it till the time comes. So I'm more of happy to maybe I'm okay saying they're the best team in the regular season baseball, but for me, they're no World Series favorites yet.
Who's your World Series favorite then?
For me,
yeah,
I don't have one yet. That's why when I bet, I'll be betting someone who's probably down the line.
Because the Mets suck this week, so you're not going to say them.
No, I mean no, the Dodgers. The Dodgers are World Series favorites, dude.
Phillies beat the Dodgers pretty handily too. The last 2 years.
Bones, we talked about this a million times. They were coming back from Japan. It was their first Western, whatever. It's fine. It's whatever.
When were they coming back from Japan?
They came back from Japan, and then they were in California. They were playing baseball for 2 weeks in a different. They were over another continent. Came home, had 2 series in California, and then they came to the East Coast. That's a terrible spot for the Dodgers. Besides that, the Phillies have lost in the playoffs, 2-3 times in a row, looking the same exact way. The Dodgers just won the World Series. They got defensive aces everywhere. All right? The Phillies are not the favorite for the World Series. Hate to break it to you. You
realize that the Dodgers played. You realize that the Dodgers played in Japan 3 weeks before they played the Phillies, right? And they were off for a whole week before the baseball regular season actually started. You're on mute. I muted you because you're full of shit.
No. Do you realize I just said that when I said they were in Japan, then they played 2 series in California.
They were off for a week. They were off for a whole week after that series.
Bro, Japan is in the Southwest Pacific. Get a map out, locate it, and it takes 2 days to get there. Even if you're charter, dude. And then it takes 2 days to catch up with yourself. That's 4 days. All right?
They were off for a whole week.
It was a tremendous spot for the Phillies. They're not the best team in baseball. They're not the World Series favorites. I don't like getting like this, but you're being thick at it, Bones.
No, I'm not.
It's the Dodgers, and it's always been the Dodgers.
And nothing gets under Slim's.
And you know it's the truth because he goes straight to the Mets. No one had the Mets as the favorites, bro. No one.
Dude, you've been loving the Mets since last year. Come on.
When they beat us, when I
come on, Frank. You know you love the Mets. You hate them this week. Come on, Frank.
Wait. When they beat us, when I called it.
All right, guys.
And I never said the Mets were the favorites. I'm trying to tell you the reality. The Dodgers are the clear favorites. You might have a little okay argument about the best team in baseball, but we just beat up the shittiest teams in baseball, bro. Come on.
And that's what good teams do.
And that's what,
All right.
bro, come on.
Let's do a little bit of a cleanse here. So, by the way, our minds are aligned.
Naive.
You took this in a direction of exactly how I want to go, and we're going to end similar to where we're at right now. But before we do that, I want to say two quick things. Number one, shout out to Brandon Marsh on that play.
It's too much to handle.
Shout out to you're about to get muted. Shout out to Brandon Marsh on that play, because that's a signature play. At the end of the year, you don't really see a lot of plays like that in baseball. Game saving, absolute nails play there. Love to see it. So shout out to him. Signature moment. The other things you guys just hit on: Slim, Bones. Good teams beat bad teams, right? So at the end of the year, the goal is to win 100 games or more, right? Everyone wants to do that every year. The Phillies just won 9 straight. So Slim, you're an analytics guy. That's 9% of the games that we're trying to win all year in this short stretch. That's a huge run. Absolute does it does wonders for your win odds. It does wonders for, gives you a little bit of a leeway down the line if we struggle in the future. So that's huge. I don't care who we're playing. A win's a win. Let's talk about this since you just noted on this. Vibe check. I'm going to do a vibe check here. You're going to have an opportunity to close down the show here. Last year, the Phillies were the best team in baseball for an extended stretch. Here we are right now. We can call ourselves that right now based off the record. But do you feel, Slim, you were hitting at this, that we're a little bit scarred from last year and the vibe quite where they were, and we have a little bit of imposter syndrome based off of last year? That's where I'm going to put it. I want to hear what you guys think.
Well, it's not imposter syndrome because we haven't done it. We haven't seen our best players be able to hit like you guys said. And I'm not the guy that comes on here and talks about the hitting like that. I'm always saying it's timely, but they haven't done it. And to say they're the favorites is a joke. No doubt you're right. Kudos to the Phillies, best regular season team in baseball right now. The good teams are beating the bad teams, but the World Series teams beat the great teams. What's the last time we beat a great team in a playoff series? The Braves, when we had that wild card advantage. You hate to say it, but every time we go back, there's situational stuff, Bones, like with the Dodgers, that make sense. They determine series. Our best run was when we were a wild card team for a reason, bro.
And what about the vibe check? Thoughts on that?
It's going to end up being situational. We're going to have to see who we're playing. All right, we're doing our job. We know we're going to win 90 to 100 games potentially. We know we're going to be in there.
Basket. So the vibes right now, the vibes overall on the fan base.
Oh, we're good. Everything's good. We just got to wait.
But do you think it's anything to do with the fact that last year we had the extended stretch of being the best team in baseball, and is it a little bit of kind of like imposter syndrome based off of that?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
All right, where are you at on that, Bones?
No, I don't think the fans were giving this team a lot of, like we said, like early on in the season, a lot of shit for not addressing the stuff that happened the last 2 playoffs, swinging at bad pitches, not working the counts and stuff like that. The Phillies are the best team in baseball doing that right now. Trey Turner's seeing pitches. Nicky C's seeing pitches. Everybody's seeing pitches.
Yeah, but it's easy
the
to do.
The chase rate is down. The chase rate is down. Baseball's a game of averages. They were in a lull last year. Right. It's all about who's hot when, right? And I think the Phillies are in a situation this year where the core of this team realizes if they don't win this year, it's done. Like, it's going to get blown up. So I think that's in the locker room. Like, stuff's being done. Like, Bryce Harper cut his hair. He thought he was playing like garbage. He was listening to the right corner. He cut his hair. He's hitting close to 500 in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Cassiano said there was no pressure for this Phillies team.
Yeah, and he's lying.
All right, well.
And Nick, he's a bad interview. Like, he's just going to give a dumb answer just to get out of an interview.
And for real, you guys talk like baseball fans from 1960 when the top record played the top record and there was no playoffs. If that was the situation, then yeah, I would maybe sit here and say the Phillies were the best team in baseball and favorites to win the World Series. But they're going to have to go through We might get screwed winning the division with the wild card matchup, and then we're going to have to play at least 2 to 3 great teams in the second round, the semifinals, and then in the World Series. That's hard to do. We've seen how our hitting gets. It's nothing new. So, yeah, it's easy for these guys to lay off shitty pitching. We beat up on the Nationals. We beat up on the Rockies twice. Not many teams played the Rockies 7 times, but now every team that does, they now know they got to beat them all 7 times because the Phillies just did it too. Okay?
That's a good point. And I think that's a nice point. Yeah, Slim.
That's basically it. I think they're a great team, but I don't think the people who are hating on the Phillies with the approach earlier in the year, they had to lay back because it's not time to ring those bells yet. And we can't ring those bells until there's situational times within the year. All right, Mason Miller. Here's a great example. When we saw Mason Miller Friday night and we were getting at him, that's great stuff to see, right? But we got to get glimpses, and hopefully those glimpses are fruitful and bring it home at the end, But as of now, you can't say that's going to happen because we really haven't shown it. Even with these stats being in our favors now, because a lot of that's built up for shitty pitching.
That's fair. And Matty Dubs, I see you in the chat. I'm going to get to your Matty Dubs put a little thought experiment together, and I love those. So I'm going to get to that right now. But I think what Bones was saying, if I'm hearing him correctly, is he doesn't view us as the same team as last year on the vibes check because we have made adjustments. We have lowered the chase and stuff like that. This is the biggest thing. All I was trying to say is if last year never happened, right? Let's just say we had an average team last year, and right now everything happened the way it happened, and we're the best team in baseball, best record. I think the city and the vibes will be a little bit different. Obviously, that's not a real scenario.
Yeah, because we'll be more naive, right? We can't let the record make us naive again. It made us naive last year.
Yeah.
That's
again, 100%. That's fine.
Doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. Doesn't mean they're not kicking butt. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be making money off it.
100%. All right, so Matty Dubs said here, you got to beat who's in front of you. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. If the Dodgers started the season 40-0, playing only the White Sox and Athletics, are they the best team in baseball? Yeah, so he's kind of using an extreme example of saying you got to beat who's in front of you. You can't control that. These are all pros, right? That's a good point there.
And it's about how they're beating them.
Yeah.
They're like beating up on these teams. They're not just beating them.
I opened the show like that. I gave all the kudos in the world, but now we're talking about winning a World Series is a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing. And we won't know the answers.
Listen, we're putting our best foot forward, and if we're going to jump ahead to the World Series. Let's do that right now, real quick, and then we got to wrap things up because I think we all got to get to some barbecues today for Memorial Day. But here's the reality: the bullpen's the biggest issue right now as far as playoff aspirations goes. Everything else, our starting pitching has been ridiculous, absolute ridiculous. Like last year, it was awesome. It feels just as good, if not better. And we keep on saying this, and I'm going to keep on saying it because I love saying it. And we haven't even brought up Andrew Painter yet. So that's like an exciting, ace in our hand that we have. But the reality is, hitting have been hitting. Schwarber's been playing like an MVP. Harper's on fire. Everything's great except the bullpen. So we'll see what that turns into. Closing thoughts. I'll start with you, Slim. Close it down, and then Bones, you do the same. Then let's enjoy these barbecues.
No, enjoy the Phillies. If you're betting the Phillies, because now everyone knows the Phillies are the best team in baseball, the value is going to be worse. Please don't bet the money lines. Bet the -1.5 because, like you guys are saying, now that we're in this 9-game winning streak versus scrub teams, the league's now called on, so that's going to be baked into our value. You can feel the vibes here in the chat, and with Devo and Bones, they're super duper duper high, and we know baseball's a long year. They're talking it's only May. So be careful out there as well. But, yeah, we're going to win 100 games, and it's nothing new because based off the starting pitching. That's it. Nothing's changed. We all had 95-plus wins in there, so nothing's changed.
Close it down, Bones.
All right, so on this day in Phillies history, go back to 2011. Phillies win a game 5-4 in 19 innings over the Cincinnati Reds. Wilson Valdez started the game at second base, pitched the final inning as the Phillies were out of starters. And now, like you're seeing this more and more with players pitching, like position players pitching, like with blowouts and all. And now they got like rules in place how bad they got to be down. But this was like tight game. They just ran out of players, so they had to throw Wilson Valdez in there. This day, 2014. former Marlins and Red Sox great Josh Beckett no-hit the Phillies for the Dodgers. First time the Phillies were on the losing end of a no-hitter since 1978.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long stretch.
Yep.
I have to be honest, I don't remember that game. I remember the Valdez stuff. For some reason, that Beckett no-hitter was completely wiped from my memory.
Sunday afternoon, I believe.
Yeah.
I think the wax in the ears might be a downtowners trend because it seems like Matty Dubs gets it in his ears and it seems like Bones gets it in his ears.
All right, guys. Today was an intense game. We got to close it down. Happy Memorial Day to all of our Red Riders. If you're still here, if you're watching in the future, enjoy your weekend. Phillies off tomorrow. And Bones, I'll go for you. Phillies off tomorrow. You got an off day. If you're still there, like, subscribe. Bones, last thoughts. Go ahead.
One last thing. The question we had last week with the Phillies Pirates pitcher, two-time World Series champ, we had a winner. He didn't watch the show live. He watched it the next day, and it was Matt Reedy. Matt Reedy was the winner. He texted me. He goes, I got to watch this live. He goes, after the first clue, I knew who the answer was. So these guys got to get your trivia up because
Bones, I got a challenge for you.
lately.
Bones, I got a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Because our viewers may not know this. We used to be a very competitive Quizzo team making the rounds, and one of my biggest criticisms used to be that all the Quizzo hosts, we're older now. Now we're the people that are doing the hosting, but I never liked the bias that the Gen Xers used to have to their, their generation. We got to be careful not to have bias towards our generation of questions. I have old heads giving me guesses of dudes I've never even heard of. So we need a couple old head questions in there once in a while.
That's a nice call out. Yeah, like we could do like a regional, an era based questioning. And honestly, hey, maybe we'll host our own Quizzo in the future, guys. We got to close it down.
100.
Got to close it down. All right. Goodbye. Subscribe and enjoy that Memorial Day weekend.